Hello, good morning, guys. Today we're going to continue working with equations and word problems. Our teaching point for today is I can answer comparison questions about a picture graph and a bar graph. So today we're going to continue working with the same situation, comparing different situations. Yeah. But this time using some graph. We're going to be using the picture graph and the bar graph. You have probably seen this graph since first grade, but we're going to give it a different connotation this time, right? Today is Tuesday, March 31st. I recommend that you pause the video right now and get to copy the date and lesson name, which is graph and comparison problems. Right after that, we're going to copy our teaching point, and then we're going to move on right away to our quick practice. So let's read it together. All of the numbers in a red box are odd. This means that it doesn't have a partner, right? And greater than 400. All of the numbers in a blue box are even and less than 300. None of the numbers in a green box are less than 500. In which box should you place the number 708? In which box will you place the number 495? So right here you have two numbers and you have three different boxes. According to the features, the characteristics that are given, then you're supposed to put these numbers in a box. So I recommend that you have this separate three boxes with their features and then get to see or analyze each number individually. Right here anyway, I share the answer with you, but I need to see the reasoning behind your work when you show it, all right? So we have a pretty familiar mini lesson today. We're going to be talking about picture graph and also bar graph. So let's go over the picture graph real quick. So a picture graph is a graph that uses picture of symbols to represent data. In this case right here, we're talking about sports. So we illustrate using drawings of the balls that they use actually represent each one. We have football, basketball, soccer, and baseball. Each item, probably in this case, represents an item, but later on we're going to see that we can specify the amount that each element can represent in this chart. The second one that we have is a bar graph. If we take a look at the elements that compose them, we can see that we have a title. We should always include a title in a bar graph, or actually in every graph, because that way the people analyzing this data will get to see in short, briefly, what we're basically talking or describing in the graph. If we take a look at this side, the vertical axis, we're going to see that we have the scale right here, having the number of students. Right at the bottom, horizontally, we display the different subjects. As we can see right here, the subject that were voted the most favored between these students is math. Yay. Following with reading and social studies that got the same amount at 3. Then we got science at 2. And then we got writing at 1. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Alright, so basically using bars, we display the frequency in which each item, in this case subject, is voted. Today, during your independent work, you are going to be working with different situations where you are going to be asked different questions comparing different aspects of the following charts. For example, you're going to see, actually you don't have the book, sorry. Today you're going to be working with this picture graph. They're going to be asking you different questions about the different amounts of books that were checked out of the library. As you can see right here, keep this in mind. Even though you see 1 and 2 books right here, each book, each drawing represents 5 books. So that means that Tariq, for example, in this case, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we need to multiply this by 5 in order for us to get the real amounts of books that he has. So that means that instead of having 6, as we see right here, he has 30 books because 6 times 5 is 30. So keep that in mind. So the question that you're going to be answering regarding to this picture graph are right here. You're going to write an addition equation and a subtraction equation that compare the number of books Tariq checked out, represented with T, to the number of books Gianmarco checked out, letter J. So if we go back, we're going to only focus on Tariq and Gianmarco this time. If we take a quick look, I can see that Tariq checked out 3 more books than Gianmarco's. But we need to remember that this is not 3. This is 3 multiplied by 5. So that means, or we can say that Tariq checked out 15 more books out of the library than Gianmarco's. Or we can say that Gianmarco's checked out 15 fewer books than Tariq. So we have actually 2 ways to focus or to tackle this problem. Now the same way, we're going to have 2 equations. We're going to have one that is adding, and then we're going to have another one that is subtracting. Keep in mind that you're only focusing on these 2 guys for the first question. Each one will ask you about a specific um, persons, people actually, in the problem. So the next one that you're going to be practicing on is on this bar graph. So we have the title right at the top, home runs this year. So right there we can see that we're talking about home runs. So we got Fred, Greta, Kim, Susie, and Bon. Right, being Fred the one that homered the most. 10. Right, so how many more home runs did Bon hit than Greta? Bon and Greta. So if we take a look, Greta is at 6 and Bon is at 12, right? So how many more home runs did Bon hit than Greta? If we made a subtraction right there, 12 minus 6, we're going to easily find out that Bon hit 6 more home runs than Greta. In that way, you're going to complete the next 2 questions. That will do it for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. If you have any questions, you already know how to find me right away. You can actually use my Skype account, or you may use CISO as well. So have fun and see you next